Good morning. Please join us in our gathering hymn, number 209, O Come, You Longing, Thirsty Souls. Please rise in body or spirit as you are able.
Never done this one before, so I'll play it through one. So you guys can let me know. Ready?
Welcome to the Sunday service of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Oxford. I'm Michelle Harvey, the Secretary of the Board of Trustees for UUCO and your worship associate today. We're delighted to bring you today's annual Water Communion Ingathering Homecoming with our service entitled The Well of Hope. Whether you are a longtime member or a first-time visitor, we welcome you here. Come with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands. Upholding our shared values, we come together today to acknowledge our interdependence, honor the spirit of generosity, and explore the possibilities of transformation. It is good to be together in this pluralistic community, this congregation that centers love in all we do. It's especially good this week. Our announcements, we have quite a few. There are some printed in your program. I would call out one that is date specific, which is the longest table on September 28th, a pre-university gathering of students, faculty, staff for a shared meal. I also have a number of other announcements and people who have asked to make announcements. So first, I'm going to let you know at the end of the service, we are going to do a new community photograph. And where is Gail?
Right here.
There she is.
Yeah.
Right after the service or after the potluck?
Right after the service, and Kevin Kozar here is our photographer.
Okay. So when the service is over, out the front door?
Yes, out front.
Out front. All right. From Wendy, all youth over 9 are invited to meet out back during the potluck after the photograph to plan events for youth group this fall and winter. We have the photo. This is our silent auction kicking off this morning. A reminder that we will have the silent auction in early November. For those of you who've participated before, you may host an event and invite people to participate for a fee that is donated to UUCO or to donate an item that can be auctioned. And again, the funds go toward making sure UUCO can do all the things we aspire to do. Susie and Ken are looking for a home for Cleo. Is Cleo a dog or a cat?
Dog.
A dog. For the month of October, see Susie if you can help. And then Carmen, you had an announcement?
Hello, everybody. In the past, faith planners have done clothing drives, and you have all participated. Thank you so much. We are doing another one, and this time around, we are only accepting children's clothes. And if you are like us, you probably don't have a whole lot of children's clothes around. No matter. We have a wish list on Amazon. And also you can participate by buying clothing at any other retailer. We are particularly interested in undergarments, which are the most expensive ones, and we don't have a whole lot of money to buy them, and definitely we are wanting to give those brand new. So I left a few posters at the entrance. Thank you so much for your help.
Thank you. And Susanna, for
Hi, thank you so much. Yes, I just wanted to announce that I and Mary Burkill will be doing a fall equinox sacred sound bath here in this building next Sunday at 2:30. We reserve the space, and all the proceeds will go to Lafayette County Animal Shelter. But if you've never been to a sound bath, or if you have, please, what I'd like you to do is register with me. Go to my to go on the email that's on the flyer on the bulletin board this morning. So it tells all about it and gives you my email. So if you want to come, please register, because we already have a good number of people. You know, space is limited here, and a lot of times people will lie down during a sound bath. So that takes up even more space. But anyway, so please register to the email if you want to come and reserve your spot. And thank you for the announcement.
Thank you, Susanna. And as I briefly mentioned, we have the potluck following the photograph, so please stay and enjoy a meal together. As a reminder, grief, gratitude, and growth slips are available from the greeter. If you have a moment you'd like to share, write down and drop it in the collection basket during the offering. Now our minister, Reverend Sarah, will help us enter into a time of sacred celebration.
Good morning, beloveds. I'm Reverend Sarah Osborne, and I'm pleased and honored to serve as your halftime minister here at UUCO, especially on today, which is our annual water communion, one of my very favorite rituals that we do every year in many Unitarian Universalist congregations. And so let us enter into a time of sacred with this call to worship by Gretchen Haley. This is a call for all the people longing for liberation, all who wander too often the desert, not sure of the way forward, too often thirsty and afraid, looking for water. Here is a call to collect ourselves and the hopes we have tucked away, set aside too often for another day. Here we are building a welcome table that never finds its end, a river that cannot run dry. The waters are always rapid, and then still, steady, and then waterfalls. There is nothing tidy or perfect possible in this journey. Abundant life is messy and glorious, filled with risk. And this is a call for the diving in with all the dreams of your heart, the struggles, the silliness, the fear, the hunger, the courage, the community, the love. And here we remember the time for joy is always, always now. So come, let us worship together. And let us experience a time of joy with this beloved community by offering one another a gesture of holy hospitality. You are invited to share a moment with the folks around you. Extend a hand in peace, offer a hug, or perhaps simply a word of welcome. And as a practice of consent, if you would prefer not to engage in this practice, simply place a hand over your heart and folks will honor your choice. And now, if you would, please turn to the person to your left or your right and briefly greet your neighbor. And now, with hearts full of joy and our cups filled with a sense of belonging, let us light the sacred symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, our flaming chalice, with these words. We light this chalice as a symbol of reunion. We reunite in the sanctuary to share the flow of our hearts with one another, and we gather together in ritual to celebrate our fountains of joy, to hold each other through storms of grief, to guide one another through the rapids of transformation, to rest together on ponds of stillness on this day of communion. Together, we honor the spirit of water, its many forms, and its life-giving essence. And if you would join me in an affirmation of covenant, because I feel like it's really important to make promises together for how we're going to be together. The words are printed in your order of service. They're also in the gray hymnal, number 458. You'll join these words with me. Mindful of truth, ever exceeding our knowledge, and community ever exceeding our practice, reverently come together, beginning with ourselves as we are, to share the strength of integrity and the heritage of the Spirit in the unending quest for wisdom and love. And now, if you will rise in body or spirit to join me in our community hymn, number 100, Peace Like a River.
So this would be 1 to all 6. The reason being, it's if we do all 6, it's almost like singing it 12 times because there's 2 endings. So you go to the first ending, then all 12 times.
I don't think we need to do all 12 times. Let's sing Peace, Joy, and Love 3 times.
Okay. So
Peace, Joy, and Love 3 times. So rise in body or spirit as you are able.
This should be pretty familiar, but I'll give like a 4-bar that way.
So I am in need of a volunteer, as usual, to open the blender box. Asa and I talked about this. Asa, do you want to open the box? No? It's cool. Hey man, I get it. It's a long walk. Who wants to open the box? I need somebody to open it for me. Thank you. Susie's gonna open it. Martha next time. You'll open it and take out what you see. What is it? That's a reminder. Susie could use some. That was perfect.
That's a sign to put your dog in a box.
All right. So here is our story for today. This story comes to us from the Muslim tradition, and it's a story about walking in a desert. So there was a man, and he was on a journey, and he set out on the road, all ready, he had his bag packed, and he walked out into the world on the road knowing and trusting that along the way he would find water. Because, roads have to have water alongside them. Travelers use them. But the country he was going through had been in a drought. And as he walked, he got more and more thirsty. At last he saw a well. He rushed up to it, he looked in, and there was no water in that well. But he thought, that's okay. I'll keep going, there'll be more water. And he kept going. And then at last he saw another well. He looked in it, but also no water. He walked a little further, and by now he was starting to get worried. He was starting to feel weak. He was starting to feel like he could barely talk, like his voice even was falling apart. It was getting cracked. It had been a long walk at this point. He finally found a well. He looked in it, and oh my goodness, there was water. He was so happy. But there was no bucket and no rope. Now, he was determined to get that water. Anybody got any ideas? How would you get water in the bottom of a well if you didn't have a bucket and you didn't have a rope and you didn't have a cup? What would you do? Jump in? Dan's going straight for it.
Throw a stone in and the water will splash up.
It would have to be a big stone. I like that creativity. Yes.
Very long straw.
Long Yes, I think there was something like that on Survivor. No, so what he did was he climbed up on the well, and he could see from the width of it that he could put his back on one side and his feet on the other and brace himself and kind of scooch down into the well. And he did, and he got water and he drank his fill. Going back up was a lot harder, and a couple times he nearly slipped, but he made it out. And he was so relieved, and now he could go on his journey. But as he was walking away, he heard a whining sound, and he looked down, and there by his robe was a dog, and it was licking the robe because it had no water, and he could see it was weak, and it was on its last legs, and he thought, this dog's going to die without water. Now, what would you do? What would you do?
Just get water.
You would just get water. I know, right? So, you just got to, right? There's no other option. It is hard going in that well, and it was scary, but he knew he would have to do it. So he went back down the well, and this time he filled his leather boots with water, and then put them in his teeth and held on tight and scooched back up, and it was so hard this time. He's trying to hold these boots, and he's trying to scooch and get his back up and his feet up, and everything's out of order. He almost fell a few times. He almost lost his boots in the well, but at last he climbed out of the well, and he gave the dog water to drink, and the dog was so grateful. And then he put his wet boots on, and he continued on his journey. And that is my story for today.
As always, Wendy, thank you so much. This is our moment for generosity. The purpose of our congregation is to encourage all who gather here to grow more generous in spirit and action. This is the great end of all the world's faith traditions, to bring the human being closer to the divine by acts of creation and compassion. We now take an offering that allows us to exercise that all-important generosity of spirit, an offering that will support this self-supporting congregation and its many ministries, including our Share the Plate program. Each week we share our collected offering, with half going to our monthly Share the Plate recipient and half going to support UUCO. Our Share the Plate recipient this month is YAC, the Yakni-Patapa Arts Council. YAC's mission is to ensure a place for arts in the community by offering a diverse range of programs, professional development services, and support to serve both artists and residents in Lafayette County. If you were here last week, you heard Wayne say, we don't do art, we do community through art. Their programs offer opportunities and resources for students and emerging artists while providing support to over 20 different arts organizations, including live theater, dance, concerts, creative art classes, culinary experiences, film screenings, festivals, and more. The Arts Council also manages the Powerhouse Community Arts Center, the Old Armory Pavilion, the Lafayette County Arena, and the Yakna Sculpture Trail. Also, please remember to drop any griefs, gratitudes, or growths into the offering basket as it goes around, and our morning offering will now be gratefully received.
By the work of our hands and the work of our hearts, our love is made real. And as we acknowledge our gifts, may we be grateful for all that is given and grateful for all that is shared. And now I have a reading first, because I changed things up a little bit, keeping us on our toes. This reading is, again, from Gretchen Haley, who I was finding a lot of inspiration from this month. This is called Start with the Thirst. Start with the thirst, the deep well you have been forgetting, ancient and ready to be soaked without shame. The well your grandmothers dug for you, the reservoir carved and cared for by the people your ancestors betrayed. Your thirst is their faithfulness, undeterred from believing there are no strangers here. In the same thirst we made and unmade, born and born again. Thirst is the thing that remembers who you are before the land, the hard rock, your body stiff and unyielding, hungry for canyons, mountains, oxbow lakes, whole oceans of whales and sea lions, and even the bitter stories of slave ships and refugees refused at the shore. The thirst can hold it all, untellable tales of water coming before the ground is ready, water rising without recourse, stories also of creation and construction, the pot boiling for tea and dinner, warm washcloths, and the first starts of a seedling in the spring. The thirst tastes the air, knows the sky and the rain before it comes, and sets in motion the leap off the ledge, off the dock, freedom bound into the startling cold, and the way the breath leaves and returns, like the sense that you are small, and also not unlike late summer monsoons, always on the verge of danger and undoing it all. The thirst says, we are soft in these bodies, part river, flowing with the browns, the cutbows, the immigrant geese, sometimes too much and risk ready, part creek trickling for miles underground. The thirst knows that there is a way to turn every breaking thing into beauty, to flush the wound clean and begin the healing again. Thirst is what is possible when we tend to the wanting of all the world, the generations and the stars, starting with your small, dry mouth and the reaching for the glass and the pouring and the filling and the lifting to your tongue and the drinking in until you are drenched in life. And now let us enter into the ritual like the one before us, one that asks us to be vulnerable in our expression and gracious enough in the receiving of that vulnerability so that we may share what is on our hearts and lay it at the altar of community and spirit. Using a pebble dropped into a bowl of water to symbolize the ripple effects of the events of our lives upon the larger community, we will now share the grief, gratitude, and moments of growth that have touched our lives since we were last together. And as always, our first pebble is one of gratitude and welcome for our visitors. We are so glad that you are here with us today. And then I have a pebble of grief from Ellie. My sister's mother-in-law passed away unexpectedly recently, shocking and devastating her 2 sons and their family. And from James, a pebble of gratitude for the freedom and safety of Elizabeth Serconi. Left last week after over 2 years held hostage in Iraq. And a pebble of gratitude from Michelle Harvey. After the week we have had, I'm extremely grateful to have a community centered on love and listening. And finally, we drop a pebble into the water for all the grief, gratitude, and growth moments that remain held in the sanctuary of our hearts. These two are held in this community of care and by a love that is limitless. Amen. And if you would join me in a seated singing meditation, hymn number 123, Spirit of Life, written by Carolyn McDade, who also is the creator of the Unitarian Universalist Water Communion.
You want to sing it once or twice?
Just once.
I'll play it once.
Sure.
You could be the water, for by the scent of water alone, the withered vine comes back to life. And thus, wherever the land is dry and hard, you could be the water. Or you could be the iron blade disking the earth open. Or you could be the Asakya, the mother ditch, carrying the water from the river to the fields to grow the flowers for the farmers. Or you could be the honest engineer, mapping the dams that must be taken down, and those dams which could remain to serve the venerable all instead of only the very few. You could be the battered vessel for carrying the water by hand, or you could be the one who stores the water. You could be the one who protects the water, or the one who blesses it, or the one who pours it. Or you could be the tired ground that receives it. Or you could be the scorched seed that drinks it, or you could be the vine, green growing overland in all your wild audacity.
So back in May, I led a service, a question box service, where I had people drop in questions. And I was on a roll and doing great, thinking I had answered all of them. And then accidentally, this got stuck in between some other papers I had in front of me. And the person came up to me and said, well, why didn't you answer my question? And it reads, how do you maintain your well of hope? And y'all, I have been wrestling with this since May. And my goodness, how much has happened since May. I hemmed and I hawed a lot about what I would say this morning, and then I thought, maybe we'll be a little extemporaneous this morning because maybe Spirit needs to lead us. Love needs to guide us. You see, there are so many feelings that I have going around, and I'm like, not really sure how that well of hope's doing right now for me. And by nature, I'm a pretty hopeful person. So if Sarah's in trouble, we all in trouble probably. So how do we maintain or even fill our well of hope when so many of us are experiencing sorrow and anger and frustration and all that's happening in our community and in our country? I feel a cognitive dissonance. I don't really know what's happening right now because humanity has lost it. And it's hard sometimes to reconcile what happens outside of my UU bubbles because all of y'all make lots of sense on everything you have to tell me. And my colleagues and my friends in the UU worlds. And that gives me hope. You give me hope. You coming here, you making this commitment, you showing up with a smile or even a look in your eyes of curiosity, perhaps a longing in your eye. Like, oh, how am I going to make it? Because you see, there's a sense of logic that is missing in the wider community. And I'm quite confused with how hate is equated with a religion that is supposed to be centered in grace and salvation. And I understand that power and greed corrupts religion, especially when there is no practice of accountability to keep theological beliefs from being weaponized to support those who profit off of those who blindly follow. That's where we're living right now. And I struggle. I struggle because I see in this community that lives are more at risk than ever before. This isn't the great American dream that was sold to me as a kid of the 80s and all the movies that came out with, real rah-rah 80s music, Bruce Springsteen, Rocky, all of those things. But there is a plan underway right now to sow division. And some people are drinking that Kool-Aid real easily. I mean, it is kind of tasty, but it's empty calories. And many of us work tirelessly, I can't even say it anymore. We're trying to change this. We're trying to keep people focused on what's really real. And many of us are trying to hold firm boundaries while still maintaining a message of love. And oof, that is feeling really hard right now. Just extend love. And I'm sure many of us are tired. I'm tired. And many of us are feeling tapped out of empathy. And when we start getting to that point, that's not good, y'all. Because the empathy is part of our well of hope. We need both. And so that's what I've been wrestling with, especially in light of things that have happened in our world, in our communities, and in our country of late. And there are no platitudes that make any sense right now, other than we need each other to survive, and that we must remember to love. And we can do that when we come here. And if you got friends out in the community who are being hurt and harmed, invite them in. This is truly a sanctuary. Even if it's only for a couple of hours on Sunday, sometimes we just need to be able to take a breath. And perhaps the purpose in meeting this moment right now is to gather, to keep gathering so we don't lose our humanity, to come together to remember what is of most importance, and so that we can be sure to keep our focus on our mission of justice and equity. And maybe we just need to sit in silence sometime, because maybe we don't know what to do. But when I look in your eyes, I remember my own humanity. And that helps. That helps to fill my well. I know this week has been particularly troubling for the Oxford community, and I'm seeing the drama unfold on social media about bad actors who are suddenly thrust into the role of martyrs that folks are suddenly supposed to feel like they should mourn or speak kindly of, when their mission has been nothing but hate and division. Political violence, y'all, is not the answer. And our response can also not be that as well. And more troubling is when someone speaks freely from their logical and personal point of view, what happens, and which happens to contrast to the majority messaging. They have been silenced and harmed. Doxing is horrible. Y'all know what that is, right? Like when somebody is just dragged through the mud. It's like witch hunts of old. And it's shocking to me that we live in a world where this can be happening here and now. Y'all, social media is rough stuff. If you are having a particularly low moment, just get off social media for a hot minute, because honestly, the doom scrolling doesn't help. And all of these things that are happening, this is what happens at the hands of fascism. This division, this power over, this making us feel like we're gaslighting ourselves into acting a certain way. When people are trying to be logical and maybe somewhat empathetic, but also holding healthy boundaries. It's disappointing to know our neighbors are speaking and acting with such violence. And at worst, people's safety is threatened. And for some people, this is business as usual. And for some people, it's a new, unwelcomed reality. And for some people, they are oblivious to it all. Maybe you're walking around the community and you see people just tootling around, having a great old time. That's hard to reconcile too. And this sometimes edges me close to hopelessness. And y'all, I'm sure you didn't come to water communion today, this happy celebration, and Sarah's up here going, it's doom and gloom, people. But I'll get you there. I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to leave you down in the depths of despair, I promise. And so I think about the waters of peace and the waters of justice, and I feel like that parched man in the story that Wendy told us seeking relief. He had to dig deep. He had to struggle, and he suffered, but he did not give up. And he rested. He kept those feet locked on the edge of the well with his hands braced, struggling, but he didn't give up. And he rested when he needed to. And once he was refreshed, he didn't go on his merry way. He saw someone who couldn't help themselves, who was also struggling. And so he struggled again. He reached out to those who needed him. That dog, that innocent, beloved dog. And so he went back into that well again. And this time, with holding those boots between his teeth. I don't know about you, if you've ever held anything between your teeth, but that's hard. And maybe it feels like your teeth are going to fall out. Maybe some of us are going to have our teeth fall out in the process of doing that. But it was worth it, because it was the right thing to do. Because this is what we do. And if you come here on Sunday to be reminded of that, that's what I'm here to tell you. This is what we do. We go in the well, and we get the water, and we bring it back out for ourselves and for each other and for those who need it. We come here, stop the doom scrolling, get refreshed, fill our wells, and then we get back to living. I don't think I will ever understand what's going on in our community and our country. There's absolutely no logic at play. And when I talk to people who are trying to reason this out in their heads, it doesn't work, y'all. Just stop. It it doesn't work. We can't reason our way into getting people to behave or not hate right now. All we can do is continue to speak out and act with love and integrity and hold tight to that mission, to what we believe in. And I've been turning now to some theological concepts to keep my mind and my heart centered, trying to answer, how do I keep my well of hope, which of course is being in this community, but also going for walks and taking breaks from social media and being around friends and going to silly movies and reading frivolous books in my Kindle. But also, there has to be something more. How do I hold empathy and compassion, but also healthy boundaries that emphatically express my values, that all persons have inherent dignity, but not all actions do, and therefore, how do I reject, and can I, and should I, and yes, I think I should, reject allowing people to enter the sanctuaries of our hearts, into my heart and sacred space? I can acknowledge someone's inherent worth and dignity and also say, no, I will not listen to your story of hate. I will not be complicit in your story of hate. And I will offer a message of love, and I will not engage in political violence, but I will rise up above that. But it's hard. And it still doesn't make me feel good of where we are. And you see, as a Unitarian Universalist, we are a pluralistic tradition, and we may all hold vastly different ideas about our place in the universe, whether we have a relationship with the divine or the holy or not. But that can shape us, and that can also fill our well of hope. Having a sense that there is something beyond us, I don't know. I think that might help add just another layer of nuance to making it through to the other side. Believing that there is something that connects us all, that is also beyond our knowing, a love that holds us all, a love, the divine, some great thing, and that gives me comfort. And recently I was thinking about my colleague, Reverend Meg Barnhouse. She is an amazing UU minister. She used to live in Austin, Texas, and now she's in College Station with her wife, who is also a minister. And she wrote this gorgeous song based upon Julian of Norwich called All Will Be Well. And it's bittersweet, you see, because Meg herself right now is battling cancer and has been for a hot minute. And it's not going well. But that woman has an incredible disposition in spite of all that her body is going through. And I think she wrote the song. She wrote the song about how you get through stuff like that. Whether it's our political climate or our personal tragedies or our bodies revolting within us. This Julian of Norwich, are y'all familiar with her? You people back there with the medieval interests will know. You see, Julian of Norwich was a really cool, she was the first, okay, I think this is right, the first female author on record in England to have writing in the 1300s. Julian experienced the devastations of the plague, famine, and a really long, long war. And Julian, what they know of her was she was living isolated, alone. Maybe she was isolated because she was plaguey-ish or something, I don't know. But she was deeply, deeply ill, and she had a vision of God. And through this experience, she began to understand more about universal love during a time of great suffering. You see, she is kind of like one of our universalist ancestors. Her ideas were super radical at the time, if you think about it, and the fact that she was a woman and she was writing, that she was even literate to do this. And people would come to her for advice. She was powerful in her own day. And there were other writers, some other lady that wrote about her experiences going and listening to Julian. And Julian wrote the showings or the revelations of divine love. that explains her understanding of the divine as love that holds all. And Mary Beth Danielson writes, how did Julian get from loss and brutality to a spirituality of comfort, solace, wellness, and love? And this is sort of transcribed, but Julian says this about our calling. It is God's will that we be occupied in knowing and loving until the time comes that we shall be fulfilled in heaven. If the God language doesn't work for you, that's okay. What she means is love and knowing, loving and learning. That's what we're all about. Loving and learning. Learning how to be good humans. Loving humanity. Loving ourselves. And in that we become saved. Whatever that means. Rescued. Held on for another day. Filled with the well of hope. That's what it is. And Julian says, love is where we come from. It is the path on which we must choose to live, and it is where we are going. So my well of hope is filled with love for all that is, and that is what saves us in the end. And as hard as it seems to remember, all will be well. As struggles and heartaches present themselves to us, we return to ourselves and this beloved community to fill our cup, rest, and renew. And through centering love in all we do, all will be well. And may it be so. And now a musical meditation from Reverend Meg herself. Give me a second to play.
Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand, and Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. I said, Julian, do you not know about sorrow? And Julian, do you not know about pain? And I said, Julian, do you not know about hunger? And Julian, do you not know about shame? And she said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. I said, Julian, do you not know about loneliness? And Julian, do you not know about disease? And I said, Julian, do you not know about cruelty? I said, Julian, it's too much, it brought me to my knees. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. She said, no one does not know about sorrow, and no one does not know about pain. She said, no one
dear one, do you not know it is only love that never ends, and so all will be well? Can we believe that all will be well, that only love never ends? We engage in gathering rituals like the one before us now, this water communion, to remind us of love, of the possibilities and the power within each of us as individuals, but also the power of our collective towards liberation. We come here to fill our wells of hope, to shed our tears of sorrow, to share our stories as we bubble up with joy. We come together in community to remind us that we belong to something greater, like streams that trickle to rivers, that flow to the oceans. The water that is within us and around us reminds us that we come from, that we are and will be holy radicals of persistent love and collaboration. And the water also represents what we bring to this community and what we need from this community. So for this year's water communion, we're inviting you to engage in the water in a way that meets the moment for you. So it's also a tradition that we have saved water from past water communions to mingle in with this year's water communion, therefore carrying our story through the water itself. And a little bit of that water is in every bottle and also in that vessel over there, which I'm going to tell you about in a second. If you have brought water with you this morning, someplace that you visited or someplace that you hold dear, you may bring it forward in a little bit and tell us about its significance, and then add it to the bowl, our communal vessel. And this is not meant to be a travelogue or report about your summer vacation, but a brief word about what the water means to you. And then you may also come forward to choose to pour water from one of these several pitchers that are on the table that represents what you need to express here now. And there are cards labeling each one. There is the water of tears poured out to shed sorrow. The water of cleansing and renewal poured out for a new start. The water of nourishment poured out to sustain, and the water of change poured out to shape the world into the beloved community. And this last little chalice bowl has the waters from our previous water communions, and that is water to bless you. Dip your finger in it, touch your head, touch your wrist, sniff it maybe. And with that, there is a blessing. This, and you can say, it's on the card in front of it, this water blesses, refreshes, renews, and fills my well with hope. So you're pouring forth, but also taking some for you. Just don't drink it. And we will begin filling our well of hope with well water, which is truly a well of hope. For this community. And now I invite you to line up and come forward as you feel so moved. If you want someone to help you, you can raise your hand and I will expedite that for you, and someone would help you as well. All right, so feel free to come forward.
This is water from the garden. Not rain, Wendy and I talked about that, but there is a little spot where water gathers. It only goes.
And y'all can line up if you want, it might make it faster.
This is water from our friend's rain barrel, so it's from the sky, but also the water of friendship.
this water from the rivers and lakes and oceans of the West that cleanse my soul always.
I'm pouring this water because of my family who sustains me through all of the sadness, and I am the love they have for me and make me feel good every day. I also found a googly eye on the floor that belongs to anyone.
From more than one, because
They're all available to you.
right. I was thinking.
This is water from all the beautiful gravel bottom streams running clear, especially in the southeastern United States.
This represents the water that my neighbors in Spain helped to save my house there, whereas all around the village, all 4 points were burning some of the neighbors' vineyards and homes.
So we will save some of our collected waters again to keep for next year, because the water always flows. It becomes part of our ancestral message, our story, our hopes, our sorrows. May the waters of UUCO mingle together to represent our interconnection, to offer blessings and comfort to one another and our world. May we be refreshed by this ritual, and may our hearts be healed so that we can continue to do the good work of seeking justice, peace, and love. Amen, and blessed be. And now, beloveds, as we release the chalice flame and conclude our time in this holy space, nourished and renewed, let us live into our dreams and expand our circle of justice to encompass all creation. Let us love one another in our blue boat home, as a body is animated through the relationship amongst its many parts, so the holy is made manifest among us through our love. Remember your promise, live in hope, and go in peace. And our closing hymn, obviously, is 1064 in the teal hymnal, Blue Boat Home.
There's 3 verses on this one, and of course there's that built-in intro, and I think we all know this one. It's probably our favorite one. Everybody ready?
As we come to the end of our service, please join me in reciting our congregational blessing, printed also in our order of service. Go in peace, believe in peace, create peace, and be peace. And now, gather ye for the photograph, and then the potluck. All of the readings are just awesome.